Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a great time. Welcome to another heart-to-heart episode of Candid Café with Raj, where we brew thoughts, stories, and ideas that help us live a little better and think a little deeper. I'm your host, Raj, and today we are diving into a book that doesn't just make you think, it makes you pause. The book is titled How Will You Measure Your Life? Written by the legendary Clayton Christensen, along with James Allworth and Karen Dillon. And let me tell you, it's not your typical self-help book. It's a blend of business insights, personal reflection, and timeless wisdom that hits you in the gut in a good way. But before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank someone very special, Deepak Jayaraman, executive coach and author of Play to Potential. Deepak, if you're listening, thank you for recommending this gem in your podcast. This book isn't just a read, it's an invitation to reflect. Your work on transitions and purpose aligns beautifully with what this book is all about. So folks, if you haven't already, check out Deepak's podcast, Play to Potential. It's rich, reflective, and full of thought-provoking conversations. Also check out his book by the same name, Play to Potential. All right, let's dive into the heart of this book and ask ourselves some big, bold questions. The genesis of the book. So picture this. Clayton Christensen, a Harvard Business School professor, is addressing his graduating students. These are future CEOs, entrepreneurs, change makers. But instead of talking about market disruption, which he's famous for, he asks them a simple question. How will you measure your life? Not your salary, not your stock options, but your life, the relationships you build, the choices you make, the impact you leave behind. That question sparked a conversation that wouldn't die. Eventually, it became this incredible book, part business guide, part personal manifesto, and wholly transformative. Career happiness is not about money. Let's be honest, many of us chase careers the way people chase stock prices. We think if I get this job, if I earn this much, I'll be happy. But Christensen flips that thinking. He explains a concept from Frederick Herzberg called the hygiene motivator theory. Let me break it down for you. Hygiene factors like money, job security, titles prevent dissatisfaction, but they don't necessarily bring happiness. Real motivation comes from doing work that's meaningful, where you feel you're learning, growing, and making a difference. One of Christensen's classmates took a high-paying job at a consulting firm, but hated every day of it. Another took a modest-paying job at a non-profit and felt alive every morning. 10 years later, guess who felt successful? It's not always about the paycheck. It's about the purpose. Here is a gem from the book. Real strategy is not what you say, it's what you do every day. Think about that. You might say your family matters more than anything. But if you're spending 80 hours a week at work and checking emails at dinner, that's your real strategy. Christensen says our resource allocation, how we spend our time, energy, and money, tells the world what we really value. Ask yourself, where do I invest the most effort? Where does my calendar say my priorities lie? It's a powerful way to hold up a mirror to our lives. Don't outsource relationships. This one hit me hard. Christensen talks about how tempting it is to outsource parenting or relationships in general. You're busy, so you think, I'll spend more time with my kids once the quarter ends, or I'll call my parents next weekend. But here is the thing, relationships grow through presence, not promises. He shares how some of the most successful people professionally often struggle with broken marriages or disconnected children. Not because they didn't care, but because they failed to invest consistently. You can't cram meaningful moments, you build them slowly, like compound interest. Stick to your principles 100% of the time. This one is bold. Christensen says it's easier to stick to your principles 100% of the time than 98% of the time. Why? Because once you say just this once, you have opened the door. The slope gets slippery fast. He tells a powerful story from his college days. He was part of a basketball team that made it to the finals, but the championship game fell on a Sunday. As a man of faith, he had committed not to play on Sundays, and he didn't, even though it cost him a huge opportunity. Now, even if you don't share his religious beliefs, the principle stands. When you live by your values every time, decisions get easier. The line is clear. The final question, so how will you measure yours? As the book wraps up, Christensen circles back to the big question, how will you measure your life? Not by your LinkedIn profile, not by your bank balance, but by the love you gave, the people you lifted, the integrity you lived with. For me, this book is less about doing more and more about being more intentional, more present, more real. So as you go by your day, maybe sipping chai on your balcony or stuck in a Mumbai traffic jam or just unwinding after a long week, pause and ask yourself, how will you measure your life? That's the real scoreboard. And once again, a heartfelt thank you to Deepak Jayaraman for introducing me to this book. You have gifted me, and now my listeners, something truly valuable. That's it for today on Candid Café with Raj. If this episode sparked a thought, do share it with a friend or someone who could use a reflective pause. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and remember, the most meaningful metrics in life aren't found in spreadsheets. Bye-bye. Take care.